Good afternoon, everyone. All right, happy to be back in Miami. I want to thank the organizers and everybody for inviting me. When I was putting this together, just decided to do like a social media presentation, but several weeks ago, I was at a business function in Seattle. So this woman said, is it possible, Sean, that we could have, dinner? I'm trying to put some stuff together for my business. I have this business I do with my siblings, and just want to know if I can have maybe 30 minutes of your time. So I said, okay. This is fine. I was going to be in Seattle anyways, and that's where I live. But we met for dinner, and so I asked her if she did social media. She showed me the social media was okay. Well, here's what happened. I said, so do you use any AI tools for your business? I tried really not to laugh, and I didn't laugh, but here's what she said. She said, Sean, I don't do the Terminator stuff. I don't do that. So then she proceeded to tell me, about Morpheus and Neo from The Matrix, and decided to go back to that. And there was a conversation. Remember, they went into the simulation. Such a great movie. And he talked about AI, and then she talked about synthetic humans on ships and Alien and that kind of thing. So I just looked at her. I said, listen, do you have a logo? Yes, I do. Do you want a new logo? Yes. And remember that whole phrase, there's an app for that? So everything she was saying, I said, well, there's an AI for that. I said, are you into blogging? She said, I do want to blog, but I have 3 jobs. And all of my siblings and I have multiple jobs, and we're trying to really keep the lights on. We're trying to keep everything together. And so she said she wanted to get into blogging. She wanted to get into video. She didn't want to pay thousands of dollars to like a video influencer. I told her she didn't have to do that. So finally, I just said to my mother, who I consult a lot of times on my presentation, I said, Mama, I just got to change the presentation. I got to do this. So then, of course, she told me exactly what not to say. Don't get into the quantum computing, machine learning, deep learning. So you won't hear any of those terms in this presentation here. So this is my journey, and it's maybe part of it. I worked for Apple right out of high school. I worked for Microsoft. The World Communication Forum is actually based in Davos, and we go to various cities around the world each year. Social Media Week Miami, I love Terry and Larry. I'm not sure if they're here. They asked me to come here for this presentation. The United Nations Foundation actually asked me to be one of the very first Giving Tuesday ambassadors. This is when it was just more of a North America-centric kind of enterprise. And then I guess Bill Gates and Melinda Gates got on board right about the same time. And then it just blew up. So now it's in like 170 countries, and it's celebrated as a national thing in actually over 100 of them. So Ford Giving Tuesday, and Ultimate Software is here in Florida, right up the road here in the north. And I love what they're doing. And they asked me to come to Vegas, and I did a big presentation on social media law, because there are lots of laws that are impacting tech that individuals are not familiar with. So AI. All right, so what is AI? This is really the best definition of it. It is a simulation of human intelligence processes by machines, especially computer systems. These processes include learning, reasoning, and self-correction text. So the interesting thing here, and I put AI imagination, this is exactly what we think AI is. We do. I kid you not. Yes, this is AI entertainment. This is not AI reality. I had to remind this woman, she didn't think that there were aliens and synthetic people, because she is familiar with Westworld, and then I think the BBC has something called Humans, so they're not real. But she did buy into The Matrix there for a second. I was really concerned. So she did. I think it's a great movie, but wow, okay. AI reality here. The first thing here, and this is online too, by the way, so you guys can get anybody that needs it by email. I don't mind sharing it with you. The first here is a chart, and it's from Gallup, and it said that most Americans are unaware that they already use AI. Navigation apps, certainly ride-sharing apps, all of those kinds of things, and of course digital assistants. the second part here is a map of the expanding number of AIs, you say AI startups. They seem to be expanding rapidly in this country, Europe, Asia, all over. And of course, right here in Florida, you guys have two prominent ones. Now, of course, the third chart here is talking about what AI is and how a number of executives are really hoping to expand their business, but executives and a lot of businesses they're just not using it. They expect to be using it in 4 or 5 years, but they're just not using it now, and I think a lot of it is based on what we think AI is versus what the way things are progressing. All right, so this is AI video. These are some of the really great statistics about who uses video. 86% of online video marketers use video content. Video, of course, is good. I love it because it definitely connects you to your customer, to people. There's sort of an emotional connection that takes place there. And that's what this woman was talking about. She said she wanted to build more of an emotional connection with her customers and wanted to use video to sort of reach new customers. So when you look at this, Lumen 5 is awesome. It takes text and creates video from images. It's absolutely amazing. If we can run that video. And this was actually made with Lumen 5. This is really good. When you look, you can look at sort of the text and you look at all of this. A number of companies actually use Lumen 5. So I'm reaching out to Lumen 5 because I want to partner with them. I'll talk about that towards the end, but I think you can reach out to these companies if you don't have the money. If you just have $5, but you have a really good idea, there's always something in the middle that you can actually negotiate. So Lumen 5 is good. Lumen 5 is one of the most popular ones. And of course, video, because of course it sales and conversions, builds that emotional connection that this woman was talking about, and definitely appeals to mobile. I know now in India, mobile is just absolutely exploding. And mobile is sort of the number one, probably going to end up being the number one tool in sort of these expanding or developing countries where the internet is not quite, only like 51% of the world is connected to the internet. So once that portion, that percentage gets connected, it's said that video will be the tool that they use because the individuals that are connected right now, for the most part, are the most educated in the world. And this is actually sad, but this is actually a reality. So if you're in video and you certainly have global aspirations, video is actually a good thing to use. Now, this is really interesting. Blogging is absolutely incredible. I blog for LinkedIn, I blog for Huffington Post, I blog for a number of publications, but this is like my favorite article of the year. It came out in the New York Times. I urge everybody in this room to read it. It's called The Rise of the Robot Reporter. And what they're talking about is how various news agencies are using AI, automation, to write articles. It was pretty alarming to a number of people. It was not alarming to me. The interesting thing about it is like what Bloomberg is doing. Bloomberg is creating thousands upon thousands upon thousands of articles with AIs in a 3-month period. So when you look at this article, here's what the article revealed. I'm sorry. Yeah. So it revealed thousands of articles on Bloomberg. This is absolutely amazing. But articles, minor league baseball for the Associated Press, high school football for the Washington Post, and of course, info and updates on earthquakes for the Los Angeles Times. Also, one publication actually had an AI that was pumping out articles during the last Summer Olympics. It was not a person or anybody, nobody went there. It was just an AI pumping out stuff. So the reason why I'm telling you guys or showing you this is because I think anybody in this room can do exactly what they're doing. They're creating their own AIs, in-house. But this is one right here that you guys can scale your operation. It's called Articulo, and we can run that real quick. All right, so it's actually good. I know 4 or 5 individuals who use this. This is different from the one that you guys might have heard from recently. There's a company called OpenAI. It's a nonprofit, and they created an AI that they're not going to release because they say it's just too good and it could be used for, I think it could be used for propaganda. This is their fear. So this right here is something that I know individuals are using for papers. They're using for all kinds of stuff, but I know small business owners, certainly in like Scandinavia, throughout Europe, and in portions of the United States are using this particular tool. All right, so logos. This is good. Looka used to be called Logo Joy. They went on and rebranded themselves. And Looka is, it creates a logo. So this is what this woman was saying. She needed a logo. She wanted something that was just awesome. But she didn't want to leave it to an AI. So, of course, what you do is you feed the AI samples, you feed them a name, any name, or a series of names, some text, and it creates a really good logo for you. So if we can run that. We don't have any sound, do we? Okay. This is actually not a long video at all, but what they're showing you is just how logos, the importance of logos, the color, you name it. And Looka actually uses, all of them use AI, but this actually has more AI than any of the others. I think that's fine. You can cut it. But what it is that the cool part about Looka, Lumen V, and all of these is that they're not that expensive. In fact, what are they, like under $50, if that? Maybe a lot of them are maybe like $5. Lumen V actually has something free. And of course, the more that you want to use from Lumen V, the more, I don't know what, the more amazing you want your video to be, then that's when you pay, but it's not a lot of money. And so I guess the thing is, when I was telling this woman, is that there's really no excuse anymore, really. I mean, if you want videos on Instagram, if you want them on, if you want to put them on LinkedIn, which is my favorite social network, or any particular social network, you can do this roughly a matter of minutes. Now you have your video, and of course, one of the reasons that you saw that video on Lumen 5, and you see a lot of these videos, is that these particular videos were created with the free service. So it has their name there. But if you didn't want their name there, maybe you wanted them integrated into the system, then you can actually pay. But it's not a lot of money. So I was really shooting down every single objection that this woman had. Now, social media, I love social media. I truly love it. I go and I speak different places. Now, if you're trying to actually strengthen your online network, let me say this for a second. I know that most people that I run into really hate networking online. They really hate it. For example, on LinkedIn, whenever I follow someone, someone will always say, hey, if I can be of any service to you, Sean, let me know, how's your day, that kind of thing. Most people do that. But I know that most individuals are just not interested. They find the whole notion of reaching out to new people, new faces, new circles kind of just icky. I don't, because I think that's really the only way that you're going to expand your name, expand your brand, and what have you. These two right here are good. One is called Crystalnose. Crystalnose actually uses social media to explain essentially how you can work with a particular person, and then it actually will email them for you. This is kind of interesting. So when I actually stopped working for a financial institution maybe 2 years ago, and a PR firm for a celebrity. I've done social media for celebrities before. And she reached out to me, this particular PR person, and she used Crystalnose. The reason why she reached out to me is because she used Crystalnose because I think apparently she saw philanthropy. This celebrity said he wanted somebody who was interested in philanthropy And philanthropy evokes what? Maybe like compassion, empathy, helping people, that kind of thing. And I said, well, how did you find me? And that's when she said she used both of these here, Influential and Crystalnose. Crystalnose is actually quite controversial because it actually is pretty scary how accurate it is. I've met individuals who do this for companies. They can determine who you are by, let's say, the last 100 tweets. If you are, if you're actually sort of a narcissistic personality, they can tell. If you're actually somebody who likes to meet people and connect with people, they can tell. This is essentially what Crystalnose does, but what it's doing is it's taking it away from those individuals who were doing it for companies, and now companies are reaching out to Crystalnose. Now, Influential, on the other hand, Crystalnose is something that even a small business can use. But Influential, on the other hand, is a little bit more money, and because it uses and it pulls from data from IBM Watson. I like Influential a great deal, but again, if you are trying to push your brand out, it can be regionally, it can be even within the same city. These two things here really will prevent you, not prevent you, but you won't have to just follow people and follow people and follow anyone, because that's sort of the thing that people have said to me. I don't want to just follow everybody, Sean. I want to follow the right person. I want to follow individuals who I know and I believe can really elevate my brand. So these are really two really good ones. So if I could just say this, the thing with AI, I will say this, is that AI is going to require individuals to be less specialized. This is one of the reasons why I changed my presentation today. Because I know definitely that when you are looking at the news and you're looking at individuals and they say, how come I can't have this thing, the job that I had in the 80s, or the job that I had in the 90s, or the job that I had 10 years ago? It's because AI and a lot of emerging technologies are forcing individuals to do what? They're forcing you to constantly update your skills, multiple times even, throughout a particular year. So a lot of jobs in the old economy were what? Specialized. If you're coming out of college, you understand totally about updating your skills, and you understand what this new economy looks like and what it's going to require from you. So if you don't have money, again, if you're coming out and you're like, but you got ideas and you have gusto, and you just have big dreams, there are things that you can do. I've reached out to every one of these companies, and I'm doing something really big this year for Giving Tuesday. So Lumen V video is going to be very key for me. Not the blogging part, not even the logos part, but certainly the influencer search component. So I just want to say there are tools that you can use. If anybody says to you that AI is about death and gloom and so forth, there's no evidence of that. But there is evidence that AI is powering businesses, that there are tools that individuals can use, not to replace people, because again, maybe you're a small business and you don't have any people, but these tools, what they can do is increase productivity, and they can actually replace a function. So you're not replacing a person, you're just replacing a function. So if you have 10 people, maybe these AIs can replace a function, and then these individuals can get to something else, like reaching out to customers, emailing people, that kind of thing. So having said that, I can take some questions. I thank all of you guys for coming here this afternoon, and always a good time in Miami.
Hi, Sean. How are you?
Hey, oh my God. This is Terry, by the way. She's totally awesome. Totally.
Thank you. I was wondering, you taught me something yesterday. We were talking about AI ethics being the next big movement. I didn't know that, and I was wondering if you can share it with everybody in this room.
Sure.
And a second question, you have gone all over the world as a result of your activity in social media, and I was wondering if you can just share a little bit of that.
Apparently, the World Economic Forum, which is not the organization I'm a part of, but the World Economic Forum and I think McKinsey got together and did this study. And what they said was that the different AI jobs that are, these jobs that are coming, one is called AI ethicist. And ethics is quite big right now, because if you notice, a lot of the people who are creating these AI algorithms are not representative of a particular country. I mean, maybe if your country is culturally homogenous, but they're not, when you look at the population, male, female, black, white, Latino, Asian, and so forth, the individuals creating the algorithms, it's just no real diversity behind that. That's why you have these STEM programs that are popping up and trying to change that. So AI ethicist is someone who actually reaches out to a company, or maybe the company reaches out to them, and what they do is they consult the company on the best way to use AI. Again, who's creating your algorithms? What kind of thing did you consider? What did you not consider? Where are you going? All of these kinds of things. So I know that I think right now, Google, a lot of the big brands have them, but with each passing week, AI ethics is this big thing that's on Twitter, and actually it's just on LinkedIn. So people are talking about it, businesses need it, and I know definitely that an AI ethicist will more likely be the hottest, or if not one of the hottest jobs of this particular decade coming up. Now, the last thing you said, okay. One of the things I do, you look at my LinkedIn profile, like I was never really a big LinkedIn person. LinkedIn always, for me, was like Detective Joe Friday, you know what I mean? Like, hey, just the facts, ma'am. It's just totally terrible. But what happened was LinkedIn got smart. They allowed you to upload all kinds of things. They adopted video rather late. Of course, they were very late to the game. But they understand now that it's not just about reaching millennials and Gen Z, which is exactly what you want to do, but it's about presenting all the tools that people need to sort of put out their best self. So what I end up doing was I end up rewriting my LinkedIn summary. You know, people always tell you, like when I got in social media, I'll just tell you real quick, and this relates to the answer to this. They say, well, Sean, you know, I wouldn't do that, man. I wouldn't do that. That's just not what people do, okay? Don't do that. Do this. And I just kept saying to myself, if so many people are telling me not to do that, then maybe I should do that. So I went on and rewrote my LinkedIn summary in a storytelling manner. And the summary it's more of like the third person, not like I, because obviously when you get down to your particular, the particular job functions, it's going to say collaborated with, you know, did this, and so forth. You're using action verbs. That's kind of an I, you know, I collaborated with, I did this. So I went on and did that, changed it up, made it third person, and ever since then, maybe somebody each week, I mean, sometimes multiple people each week will reach out to me about, you know, a particular job, a short-term job, coming to speak at their particular, you know, conference, whatever it is. And so that's number one. So but the second part is once I started speaking at different events, I would upload those pictures. And then I just, you know, I change something every now and then. I keep some stuff. I think I have you guys there, Social Media Week, Miami. But that's what I did. I started using LinkedIn and then just pushing all kinds of energy and eyeballs towards LinkedIn. So that's number one. But if you're, let's say, for example, in a particular city, let's say Miami, you could actually organize something, maybe 3 or 4 different places. You can do a social media tour. Maybe like, say, the Tatiana social media tour, whatever it is, right? And I'm just saying, if your name's Tatiana, you know, anyway. So you can do that, and then you just kind of ask individuals, you know, hey, can I use your room? I have 2 or 3 people coming, because I did social media presentations, and it was like 1 person there, 2 people there. That was like 2009, 2010. And then I got a millionaires followed me on Twitter and said, I really like the way you do social media. You speak to people, you engage people. I want you to come and be a panelist at this big Hotel 1000, I think, in Seattle. And ever since then, I've been on particular radar. And so that's what happens. You know, it starts small. Sometimes you're going to show up places and nobody shows up. That's been the case for me. But I think if you stick with it, if you stick with LinkedIn, certainly, because the data is there and there's all kind of tools connected to that platform, then I think you'll be fine. Yeah.
Hi, Sean.
Hey.
Sorry. Giselle from Cohort 7. Thank you for your presentation. It was really insightful.
Thank you.
For marketers like myself that I work for a small business with limited budget.
Yeah.
So what AI tools would you recommend to start using, to start getting in the business and creating videos as well?
I think Lumen 5 is good. I didn't know that a lot of these companies and a lot of the news agencies used it. Because if you look at it, there's a video that was created for, I think that the Business Insider used, and it's on the Lumen 5 site. And it was talking about the Amazon Go company, the Amazon Go stores. That video was created with Lumen 5. Amazing. So I know that Rolling Stone uses it. A number of companies and news agencies use video. I think Lumen 5 is actually good. Articuno is not the only one. I like the name too, by the way. I love that name. Love that, yeah. But Articuno is not the only one. There are some other platforms. In fact, if you read the article, the rise of the rise of the news robot or whatever that is in the New York Times, it will tell you what, like Forbes, for example, is doing the same thing. Forbes, it gives you the name of those particular tools. So you may not want to just kind of go with just Lumen 5, or any of the ones that I laid out, but I'm just giving people sort of a map, a framework, and you can try 4 or 5, or maybe you can contact them and say, I'm looking to get, I have a limited budget. Like, again, you can barter with them, and just because it may be a situation that you might want to maybe have a situation where you can say, hey, maybe inside the video, or maybe in something you're doing, you can mention them, but you don't want to necessarily have them at the end of your video. Because at the Amazon Go commercial, Amazon Go video, I didn't see Lumen 5 at the end. So it was probably maybe somebody had the money to just kind of pay for the whole thing. Yeah, so you can do that. Again, just present it. But no, I think Lumen 5 is good, but I think a lot of them are good, and just go ahead and shop around. Yes.
Hi, Sean. I know that multiple companies that are leading the way in when it comes to AI and innovation.
Say that last part one more time.
A lot of companies that are leading the way with AI and innovation are talking about how the jobs of the future kind of don't exist today. So I wanted to know where do you think marketers stand there, and maybe what sets of skills would be good to actually get now to be kind of getting ready for that?
There is wow. If I knew that, I'd be like the Oracle, No, I think that you have some, I know that the World Economic Forum, once again, had the skills that you're going to need by whatever 2030 it is. And I think one was creativity. And then another one, it's like 10. And you have an overlap between the skills that they said, I think in 2005, that we would need by 2015. So there's some overlap, but creativity, people, skills, all of those kinds of things are necessary. Once AI and a lot of this automation sort of it fills a lot of functions, I felt that art, again, a creative thing, is going to totally it's going to be huge. Art's already huge. I love art, but there are a lot of people who may not like it, and they're like, I think my mother was talking to me, and she said that there was this guy was telling her that he didn't like the fact that his daughter was going to be an artist. And my mother she loves AI just as much as I do, and my mom was telling him, hey, you got AIs, and you have all these emerging technologies that are filling functions. So I think probably creativity, which is exactly what your daughter's into, could be something that would be actually, pretty huge, because actually people are really moving and gravitating towards it. But I can see it. I can see functions and jobs that are actually going to be filled that people are doing now. And it's going to be an interesting period there where people all over the world just say, what's my function? What can I do? And I think definitely creative things are going to, I think they're just going to truly explode. So I hope that answers your question a little bit. Yeah, but you can look online, the World Economic Forum, skills that everybody will need by 2030.
Hello. Hey, my name's Jerica. So quick question. So as being an influencer of social media, can you share a few tricks of how you built your brand and how you built your followers on social media? Because, that's kind of one thing I'm trying to do for myself and
Sure.
For my personal brand, but, trying to find not an answer, but like how can you upscale it?
Sure.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, I started social media when I was, not when I was, but actually like 2009. Twitter, Facebook. In fact, I joined Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn on the same day. I was sitting in a cafe, with my mother and father. I said, you know, Mom, Dad, I'm going to go ahead and get this. I'm going to go ahead and do this, and it's going to be awesome. I think I said I wanted to write for HuffPost. That would be like 3 years down the line. It ended up being 6 months into that particular year. A lot of things just started happening. So what I ended up doing was, in fact, I didn't know how to tweet for like 6 months. I didn't. You know how you just like, what is this? You know, and then I was on somebody's account, and then I saw like 4 or 5 people in a tweet. I'm like, damn, I want to be in a tweet like that, you know? So then, I don't know, I just started tweeting and making mistakes. But once, I think I used a platform called, what is it called now? It used to be called Just Unfollow. And you can probably look online. I don't necessarily have to use them on Twitter anymore because I have almost like 1 million on there. But I use them to really build it up. Now, you're going to run into people who say, you know what? You know, it's not the size of your following. It's just really about connecting with people and so forth. I would actually kind of push back against that because we're talking about AI, and these companies are using AI to push you, like different recommendations. Mm-hmm. So, for example, on Twitter, Twitter used to have what they call like this chronological feed, right? Where whatever, like if we all tweeted something, I would see it. But now, based on the fact that I tweet AI, big data, fourth industrial complex, quantum computing, all that stuff, if nobody in here is tweeting about that, I probably, chances are, won't see you because Twitter is using this restrictive algorithm. So, but you have to then pay to see all of you guys, if that makes sense.
No, it does. So really, it's just, would you recommend so there are platforms out there then that would help you build that? Okay.
Yeah, there are. Now with, I don't know, God, Twitter, I mean, again, but don't listen to a lot of individuals and they say, you know, I wouldn't do that. A lot of people aren't doing that. Mm-hmm. Girl, don't you do that. No, don't do that because a lot of times people, I don't know, people may not want competition. You know, you don't know where a person's coming from. And now it's pretty commonplace for companies to automate their tweets, right? Mm-hmm. And automate stuff. Back when I got in, people were like publicly shaming people if they thought that you were automating stuff. They were like, I built my business, you know, Sean, without the use of this AI. What are you doing? So I just know, again, it's pretty commonplace now, and that sort of fizzled out. But yeah, just try new things. Now for LinkedIn, it was just really all about the summary. Now LinkedIn is celebrating people who try different summaries. They weren't doing that at first. They were like, don't tweet inspirational quotes on LinkedIn. Don't tweet videos on LinkedIn, all this other stuff. But people just pushed back against it, and they did what they felt was best for them, for their personal brand, and they went with it. And, you know, don't be afraid to tweak certain things and you know, that kind of thing. And maybe...
Yeah, I discovered on Instagram, the use of hashtags too, that helps.
Yes,
so,
it
just
does.
trying to find little tricks and, just other ideas.
You know what I can do? If you, as I think I talked to you earlier, give me your email and I'll just give you a sort of a rundown of, what you can do for each particular platform. Facebook is interesting. I've never truly gotten Facebook.
I usually use that for family anyway.
Yeah. But LinkedIn and Twitter, they sort of like those platforms kind of work together. And I know that Pinterest also, which is like 72% female, it also is still very good for e-commerce. It's just an amazing platform for that.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Sean. Please give him a round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you.